What if I told you that our greatest responsibility in life is not just to find ourselves, but to honor and support each other? I know, this sounds like something you would read in a self-help book or a cheesy inspirational Instagram post with a sunset in the background. You know the type, live, laugh, love, that sort of thing. But we nod along because we know the answer is supposed to be community or love. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if the true key to unlocking a more fulfilling and joyful life is by showing up, being respectful, and being a genuine person? Quakerism challenges our culture's obsession with individualism and self-actualization. It provides a much-needed framework for understanding how our true responsibilities to one another can create a more just world. And one of the core beliefs that guide this religion is the inner light. The inner light is the divine presence within every person. It reminds us that there is something beautiful and worthwhile within every single one of us. Now, recently I have had to see the inner light in somebody. One weekend, I was at a community event on Red Square, and I was with my group of friends. We were talking, we were laughing, we were chatting, we were having a good time. And I look to my right and I see this other friend group, very similar to mine. And one person, a very specific person, stuck out to me. And this person I empathized deeply with. They were in the corner, arms crossed, slouched away. Now, in the past, I have seen so many people in that exact same position. I've been in that same position. And honestly, I would just look at them and say, oh, I feel so bad for them. I hope they feel more comfortable in the future. And then I would go away and ignore them and go back to my conversation. But this time, I decided to do something else. I took the time to pause. I thought to myself, what would I want for someone to do if I was that person? So I go up to them. I say hi. I ask how their day was. I ask how they're doing. And I ended up having a really meaningful and interesting chat with them. And now they're one of my best friends, and they have joined my friend group. This is the hallmark of being and noticing somebody's inner light. It is not just reflecting on how you spread your light to others, but reveling in that of others. Now, if seeing somebody's inner light is the first step, the action that follows is mutual responsibility. Now, mutual responsibility is showing up. It is very similar to the inner light. It is showing up for other people. It is going to your friend's birthday party even when you don't feel like it. It is raising your hand in class, asking questions, being engaged. Imagine how much more vibrant, and more joyful George School would be if we were all mutually responsible. Now, I don't want to give George School a bad rap, so I am going to tell you one of the ways we already do this here, and that is through meeting for worship. So right next door in the meeting house, we walk in, we sit in silence, and we reflect. Reflect on how our day's going, reflect on any sort of divine message that we are getting inputted into our minds. And one of the most transformative things in my life, and one of the things that I have found to be so inspiring about George School is that, and Quakerism in general, is that meeting for worship is not just about your own reflections. It is also about the reflections of others. It is about hearing someone's message. They stand up, they say something that touches you to the core, and it can truly change your life. Now, I talked about the inner light and mutual responsibility, but how do we put all these into true practice? Look, we live in a world that is extremely polarizing. There are people who will tell you what to be, how to be, and who to be. People will tell you what your political stance should be, what your religion should be. And you do not owe anyone anything. I'm going to repeat that. You do not owe anybody anything. What you do owe to the world is showing up, being respectful, being a kind and genuine person. That is what I found in my undeniably short time on this earth to be a truly transformative thing. Now, I want to bring in the concept of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is not just blindly agreeing with something everyone says. For example, in being for worship, I have heard so many messages that don't exactly align with my beliefs. Recently, I was in a bit of a pickle, a bit of a dilemma, and I went to go ask a friend for advice. They gave me a piece of advice that didn't exactly align with my values. And I was very resistant at first. I pushed them away. I said, no, this is not what I believe, and I am not going to listen to you. But then I took the time to think about it. After a few hours of mulling it over in my head, weighing all the options, I realized that they were right. And in a lot of situations, the other person will not be right. But the crucial thing about being a radical acceptor is that you have taken somebody's opinion or perspective into consideration. Again, it does not mean blindly agreeing with what they said, but it does mean considering it. We live in a post-truth era. We are so linearly stuck in our ways, and we don't take the time anymore to really think about what other people are thinking. We don't think about other people's perspectives enough. And we need to understand that they are just as important as our own. This is why being a radical acceptor is crucial. So I want to leave you with this. What if we started treating every interaction like it mattered? What if we started being the reason that the world changed instead of waiting for it to change? Freedom is not about escaping responsibility. It's about what you choose to do with that freedom. And if we, as a society, if we, as a community here at George School, choose to be more respectful, choose to be more genuine, choose to open up and be vulnerable, we can literally transform the world. We're brought on this earth not just to share our stories, but to revel in those of others. We are here to listen, to witness, and to remind each other that we are not alone. And that, my friends, is what we owe each other. Thank you.